We're ready to rock and roll, gentlemen. As per usual, welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come to understand the potential, the economic impact, and the value of blockchain and cryptocurrency. My name is Lucas.
My name is Ryan.
I'm Jacob.
And it's a beautiful time to be in crypto, a beautiful time to be alive and in blockchain. And so many projects are just now taking off. We like to start the weekly update. There's a lot of good news, both on the traditional market side, the news side, and also developments in crypto and DeFi opportunities. We have a lot to cover. So where we like to get started with our still in the works website, wisebeyondbitcoin.com. Yet it's a great place for picking up news, information every day, and checking out the metrics and what's going on in the market. So let's get right to it, gentlemen.
No, Enginecoin has had a fantastic day along with Cardano.
And so recently, what are one of the things about Cardano's upgrades that they're now is it NFTs on Cardano? That's a big thing after the smart contract is. I'm pretty sure NFTs are being made on Cardano. I haven't jumped into that yet, but I want to say that part of the value jump in Cardano, it's because Cardano's been just kicking butt for a while now. It's just been leading, but Enginecoin, we know it's a hardcore NFT play.
Yep.
And gaming, one of the stronger ones. But you know what the little history I love about Enginecoin, because I remember Enginecoin from back in the ICO 2017 days, and they're one of the few not all those projects, there were many great projects came from that, and their funding led to other things, but they had a great multi-asset Ethereum wallet from very, very, very long ago, and they also are the ones who started the ERC 721 NFT smart contract. They're the ones who wrote it. So NFTs, not that somebody else wouldn't have written it and done it, but the modern smart contract NFT that the code that they use came from the Enginecoin. Pretty cool, huh?
It's a good little tidbit, yeah.
And because we're living in the world of blockchain technology, there's not some fight or war over the value of NFTs used all over the platform of the network. It's just an open source contract that you see being used and passed around by tokens and all over Ethereum. So that's no IP, right? Not no.
Mm-hmm. Helium. That's been having a good run these last few days, right?
Yeah.
10% today. I know Jacob's a fan.
I'm a big fan, especially with what they're rolling out, 5G. 5G coverage is going to be huge, but I have my own thoughts on that. I personally, I believe we should be focusing more on the coverage area rather than the speed, because 4G reaches a much wider area, so it'll be more accessible for people. These hotspots, there's a certain distance you want to be away, and with 5G, it's
too close.
You got to be too close in a lot of cases, and even if you're not too close, you have to have a good height elevation. Not a lot of people can reach some of those higher heights. They don't have the 2-story buildings or access to buildings that they can put it on.
Right. Those are good points.
Just so you know, for those of you who are watching, listening, our good friend Jacob here actually has been a member of the Helium Network, and not just involved. I mean, really involved. I mean, with a miner and really just being a part of supporting the network. So when you want to talk to someone, that's what I like to do. When you get these tokens or coins, I like to stake them. I like to see what their function is, how they're used, to be a part, to add value to the community, not just to buy it as if it's some kind of a stock and just sit back and see what happens to the price. That's a very traditional financial mindset, and this is not financial advice, by the way. This is just educational information for those of you who are excited to learn about this new technology, which of all ages, you sure can. It's barely been around, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. That's going to be the moral of this channel for sure. One of the tenets. Yeah. So
we forgot to talk about Bitcoin. We have to mention that it touched 50K today before kind of stalling a little bit.
Audience, music NFTs, Chili's NFTs. So Theta is talking about NFTs plays. Avalanche has been coming into play. And I just wanted to shout that out real quick before you're right, Ryan. Let me go back to the market cap and get out of the day change.
I'm glad you mentioned Avalanche. That's done fantastic in the last week. I think it's only a few days. It went from around 20 to close to $46 just in a matter of a few days. So congratulations if you're an early holder of that token.
Congratulations.
Lucas was pressuring me, not pressuring me, but suggesting that I picked some Avalanche up months ago when we began Wise Beyond Bitcoin.
I have a sad Avalanche story.
Ooh, you did tell me. That's right. That is that project.
I got buried in an Avalanche. Of all the different projects over the I tried to have a little bit. I really felt good about it in the beginning from my research in Avalanche, and so I kind of went in for me heavy, and it did well. But I did not have my keys stored properly on that. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that was kind of a shock.
Poured one out for the homies.
Poured one out. But so it's all good. You get back on the horse? I mean, it happened a while ago. I said, you know what? It's still a good project, and I made a mistake. And if you make one mistake and you're working a bunch of projects, you know that it happens. All you do is you just say shame on yourself, and you just figure it out. And next time you write it down, you triple write it down. You know what I mean? But the crypto market in general is doing well. Bitcoin, like you were saying, Ryan, it really just touched 50,000 recently. So we'll see how that does. Ethereum continues to grow and pump slowly but surely, which is the growth that I like to see in the markets. Not these parabolic moves are fun, but it's nice to see sustained slow growth, especially when you see sustained slow growth back to previous all-time highs.
Yes.
That's where you get those new floors. So really, if we see this crab-like sideways market for a bit and maybe even slowly turning up or even That's
for the best.
That's quite all right. In fact, you have a market, an economic little market insight that would give good reason for an argument that we would see more of a sideways market for the interim, and then and not the too distant future, maybe see an injection of some capital, that will continue to push things forward. But so overall, the market's green. It's beautiful. Another project that I'm a huge fan of that I'll get to later. Although I need to have an address so you can send me your donations, because I'm a huge fan of it and I've yet to get it. I've been a fan of it for months, and I was like, I need to, but So, but for what they present, Luna, they're very unique. You look at Binance USD, centralized company with a stable coin. Most all stable coins are fairly centralized, but Luna is a decentralized crypto that it's an asset. The Luna token is an asset that backs UST, Terra. Their Terra stable coin built on Luna. And as it fluctuates with going up above or below $1, the arbitrage is from the buying or selling of Luna. So it's actually a brilliant digital asset version of a stable coin that's equitable and ethical. It's decentralized, and it's built in to the tokenomics without a central party. It's so pretty neat from what I understand about that. But there's some other stuff that can be done with it too. You guys have any other general crypto market news that pops out?
Oh, one thing that, before I cut Jacob off, one thing I'd like to mention is if you have a trust wallet and it's not verified, you have till August 31st to remove your coins from that wallet, or you can verify it. Your choice.
That's
Just
a good
heads up.
That's a good point. So depending upon what crypto wallets you have, we know that Binance, the centralized exchange in August, just recently went all KYC and AML, and now Trust Wallet, which was for the most part anonymous, decentralized, anyone can download it wallet for crypto storage, now requires AML KYC for use.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see in the future how many more projects announce, or if did they give an announcement or they just do it? Was there an announcement saying?
There was an email that went out, so I assume anybody who has their email registered with it will get an alert.
So that makes sense.
On the topic of wallets, I'd actually like to bring up a couple gems of wallets to check out.
Yep.
If you care about security first and decentralization, check out BC Vault. It is a hardware wallet that is the head of security. In terms of the security standard, you've got basically 4 layers of encryption that you got to go through and know the seed phrase. It blows my mind the amount of time and effort that they took to make this wallet as secure as it is. You can have multiple wallets within this wallet that are shared. So if you have a husband, a wife that you want to get interested into crypto and you just want to have one physical wallet but have your funds separate with separate seed phrases, you can do that.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful tool, for sure. It's a vault, is what it is.
Might have to scoop one of these up.
And
That sounds right up my alley. I was looking to do.
What cryptos? How many cryptos does it support?
All ERC20s, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, all the big ones. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I also would like to recommend Lattice. Their hardware wallet is a tongue twister. A hot hardware wallet that allows you to take part in DeFi and actually view the hexadecimal as English language, like as words. And so it's really interesting the way that they do that and translate it into like human readable. Super interesting also that it's a hot wallet that you interact with DeFi with, almost like a checking account that you sign to verify all the transactions.
We've looked at that before. What's that called again? It's a Lattice.
The Lattice One.
Lattice One. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember that. There are a lot of new great secure storage devices, but you definitely want those if you're involved in DeFi and in the different crypto projects, becoming involved in those communities. You want something that's able to link up Web3 to websites for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
I believe Lattice is going to be the future as far as connectability with your wallets. I love the design of having a hot wallet, and you take a card that you would load the seed phrases onto, and that's your cold storage wallet. Is that card there?
So if it's not inserted, the transactions aren't going through.
Exactly.
And this, I presume that this card you encrypt yourself with a password that you come up with.
No, so actually they use their own encryption standard, which is the same as the debit and credit cards. So theoretically speaking, as crypto gets mass adopted, this could be used as a payment platform as well.
When you say the same as debit and credit cards, that mean like it's just a PIN code, a 4-digit?
Not a PIN code, but you know the little chip that you see on your credit and debit card, that little encryption? Well, it keeps it encrypted on the physical card. So if you lose the card, that's the access to your keys.
Right.
But it allows you to use that as a tool. So instead of remembering my MetaMask seed phrase, I can load my seed phrase onto this card, not even know it, and have this physical thing that is a representation of my seed phrase.
It's like a key.
Yeah, it's like a key.
That's cool. Very cool.
I dig it. I'm just trying to understand how you encrypt the card, because if you lose the card and someone else picks the card and they see a safe card, all they have to do
that might be the flaw. Yeah.
all they have to do is buy a device, and then plug it in.
Well, you do have a password that you would set up with your account.
That's
that
just
like
makes
how
sense.
MetaMask, you make a password to log in.
There you
password
go.
And seed phrase.
That's what I
So
thought.
there's 2 factors involved.
Sure. I figured as much. I was just saying that's a fail safe that I'm sure has been thought through. 2 great devices. All right, so starting right up with going after what's going on in the market. We just talked about Bitcoin hitting 50K. Ryan, what else do we know about Bitcoin?
Well, we're running into a big meeting for the Federal Reserve coming up on Friday. They're having their yearly symposium, their Jackson Hole meeting, and this is historically it's a face-to-face meeting between all the economists and statisticians and Federal Reserve officials.
A real eye opener.
All into conversation with each other. What were you gonna say, Lucas?
A real eye opening event.
Yeah, right.
All the economists and statisticians and bankers and accountants.
Probably a lot of fun, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, there's actually some bullish news, because bad in an upside down world where the markets are waiting for more and more money from the Fed to be pumped in so they can rally. Bad news becomes good news. Remember this old? I don't know if we've talked about this before, but that's a phenomenon in these situations. So the bad news was that this symposium had to go virtual. They're not going to have face-to-face meetings this year because of COVID and fears of spreading the virus. So now it's virtual, and that's been read as like a bullish thing, because there's talk that they might have rolled out an announcement they were going to maybe taper quicker than they expected. And but the taper seems to be pushed off. The worse the COVID looks, the harder it's going to be to really taper. So it's the expectations, if you read this article, are that there's actually some dollar weakness that we come out of this meeting with, because the expectation was some announcement of a taper, and then this expectation is being diminished because COVID seems to be kind of getting a little worse. So really, it's almost like a head fake that the Fed's doing, and we could expect that the taper story is going to continue to get pushed back, and that's good for risk assets like crypto or stocks or anything like that. So takeaway from this is that most expectations are that whatever tapering is coming won't be in the immediate future, and potentially won't be very, very robust or very intense, and we should probably continue to see more credit creation. We have another article about this that talks about that. It's a JP Morgan article. It's the next one, and it's about how the Fed is going to be expected to be pumping in $1 trillion over the next in the next year over this taper term, which is hilarious, because taper means credit contraction, like constraining the amount of money that they're creating. And during this taper process, they're expected to be injecting in roughly $1 trillion. So the point here is that taper is relative. This isn't going to be so much an end of the money printing phase as much as just a little bit of a dialing back of it, because they're still creating $1 trillion of new money, and that's good for crypto any way you look at it.
Well, it seems like it's already responded. I mean, a tapering between now and the end of the year. And like you said, we're talking about now a tapering is pumping only $1 trillion. That's considered to be a tapering. So no wonder we see an explosion in the crypto markets and in those areas where
the stock market too is rallying today.
Right. So that's great. It also signals bullish news beginning the following year too, right? Because if this is a tapering and they're coming through or
they're protecting the end of it. Yeah.
They're prepared to really start stimulating again come towards the beginning of next year, then that could prolong the pump for sure in crypto. So that's awesome there.
We can just say this. What do you want to make a bet that the taper ends before August of next year? I'll put that out there. I'll draw that line in the sand. that we don't reach August next year with a taper phase still in motion. I believe that will have ended by that time. We will be firmly in the accommodation phase.
Yes.
In my mind.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to take that bet against you.
Okay, this is a great one.
This is
a
awesome.
fun article or fun survey. I shared this to Lucas. So Deloitte, they're a very famous auditing financial services company. They have a global survey, and their result of the survey is that 76% of the respondents believe that digital assets will either be a strong alternative or an outright replacement for fiat currencies in the next 5 to 10 years. That's a global survey, so that's not just the United States. That's huge. That's showing you that the expectations in around the world are shifting, and that there's an awareness that this is a real substitute and alternative for what is not a universally valued and loved institution, fiat money.
That reminds me also, I heard earlier that there was a calling for Fidelity investors or clients that 80 to or maybe over 90%, but a large percentage of their clients are asking for direct exposure to crypto, not through instruments where they're exposed to the prices or ETFs, funds. They would like to actually hold the actual crypto assets in their portfolios. So I mean, this is just what's funny. What's funny about this, and this just goes to show how complex the markets are and the short run prices are irrational. In 2017, Bitcoin shot up to $20,000 a Bitcoin. Now, we get on week after week, and there are many other crypto educators and ambassadors and channels, and this has been going on for a while. The amount of news that has come out in the last 6 months this year of how much institutional adoption and support and recognition it's gotten, being Bitcoin to be another alternative legal tender for El Salvador's national currency. I mean, what we're hearing in the news, Deloitte, Fidelity, JP Morgan. I mean, the reality is what those who understand the technology have understood for a while is that's what it is. This is technology, and technology doesn't go away. It takes a little while for more people to understand it, so it can grow in adoption and use. But a superior technology is that it's a superior technology. And I look at all this news. We go through all this news going on, and the prices still don't, to me, reflect anywhere close the latent value in blockchain in this space. But it's great. I mean, it's great seeing all this happening, and it's a great opportunity. It's a great time because, it's like when cars were first made after the T Model Ford. Would it have been too late to invest or get behind a car manufacturing company because T models are the talk of the town and they already are everywhere, so there's no point in looking at this company called, whatever,
Ford.
Chevrolet
Right.
or Dodge or Nissan.
No, that would be a mistake.
Or Toyota or Mercedes, so it's absolutely, especially what a lot of the projects we're going to get into, but a lot of these projects actually are really just starting to take off. It's just the beginning of crypto and DeFi and blockchain. A lot of these projects are just starting to get legs. So it's a great time to learn and to begin your crypto journey. Speaking of, we were talking about Cardano earlier.
Yeah, they moved up. They just passed Binance BNB, right? Didn't they? A few days ago, and now they're closing in on Hex. Nasdaq says they're the top three. I don't know, because Hex is a few million market cap higher.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how they're doing their math, but anyway, you look at it, it's moving fast and growing.
It depends upon how they're calculating market cap and which metric. But, I mean, either way, it's not a surprise to see them in that top echelon. they've always been the top echelon, but to see right below Ethereum,
Right. It's fantastic.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano is basically in the race. In this race, this is where you're seeing Cardano. You're not seeing at the moment Polkadot, which
Right.
I'm a huge fan of the Polkadot network, or other smart contract platforms. It's Cardano. So it's awesome that the Cardano community and Charles Hoskinson, but they're all just a beautiful, fun community, and the project is just, if you've been around crypto and you've seen how tedious it can be, how not user friendly many projects can be, to have a staking platform as opposed to what Ethereum and others are working to do, where it's automatic. You don't have to wait. There are some where you have to wait 3 weeks when you unstake, 2 to 3 weeks in order to have access. And it the reason is because you have to make sure that the network is secure, so that prevents hacks. They by keeping tokens locked on the network longer for sustained periods of time, they prevent overnight rug pulls. Basically, it's a rug pull.
Right.
It's a rug pull prevention, and people can see from long term out how much is being requested to come off the chain for periods of time. So, okay, with that
A little better tokenomics.
With that rant, it's great to have tokenomics of projects that are able to sustain and support their network that don't require that, and you don't have to wait 7 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You can just pull it out immediately and unstake it. So that's cool. And
before we move on, I just wanted to highlight that Cardano's has done 1,300% just this year to date. And that's just fantastic.
And a lot of that is because Cardano has been around for a long time and without much going on. I remember the clunky early dataless wallet, and I eventually was like, well, I don't want to run this. I don't know what's going on. This is just slow and nothing's really happening. Now, I wasn't familiar with the roadmap, and I'm not a dev. So I'm talking about 2017, 2018 in that time frame. Cardano is famous in the ignorant crypto community of price watchers of having not done much for a long time. And like where you look at Ethereum, you've got Uniswap, you've got Enginecoin, you got these wallets with decentralized, with multi-asset tokens that you can store on them, and swaps. This is a lot of stuff happening on Ethereum. Meanwhile, you hear crickets in the Cardano network. So a lot of people would just say, "Oh, it's junk,"
It's a dead project.
It's a dead project. But in reality, so many projects are working and have been working, and just because you don't see something right now doesn't mean that something's not a week or a month or a year away or a couple years away from popping off. These projects that you think are asleep are actually working hard, because this is so early in the space. It is very, very young.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Charles and Cardano, weren't they really focused on decentralization at a level that maybe even beyond Ethereum? In which would that explain the long development time? Because if you're building something truly novel and with less centralization than the others, then it might take time to square some circle or work out some technical puzzle that you have to figure out, right?
Absolutely. In fact, he was an early developer with Vitalik and others like Gavin Woods from Polkadot, and they were all able to see a lot of the shortcomings of Ethereum. Now, Vitalik said, look, these shortcomings can be patched up and fixed along the way, which they're doing with forks and with moving the protocol. But and they said, let's make use and let's start building and seeing what can be done with smart contracts and blockchain. But others foresaw being able to build a sturdier foundation, and that way when things were ready to take off, they didn't have to go get the house lifted, fix the foundation, put the house back down. And here with Cardano, That's really what you have. You have a cleaner, more user-friendly system that can be built upon. And now that smart contracts, and this is where NFTs, right? Here we go. The Alonzo upgrade, a key player in NFTs. And so we saw Enginecoin. I really feel that it's the NFT market. And think about this. NFTs, if you look at the economy, just look at the market economy. What is there more of numbers, like ledgers of banking accounts, dollars that people, or whatever relative fiat currency they have in their account? Or do you have more bonds, securities, licenses, titles, deeds, all artwork, all the different things that a non-fungible item can be used for? There is definitely a lot larger.
There's a lot of
a larger share of the economy goes to assets that you would find that could be used as NFTs than just purely something that
fungible units of currency.
A fungible unit of currency. Yeah.
I got it. I agree on that.
In fact, even today in our modern economy, you would also maybe agree with me that, although it's from a debt side, but money itself is built and pyramided off of assets that are on the books themselves.
For sure.
So the NFTs being the coupons or the receipts of the various assets, you can see how they themselves can lead to money markets, really. And we're talking about that, actually. Jacob talking about that. We're talking about that, the use of
we'll get to that in a minute.
NFTs and what people are doing with NFTs to take advantage of the value that's locked up, just like people do already with the value locked up in their home, or the value locked up in their car, and the value locked up in other things that they have, and they can prove that they have it. So, all right, that's awesome information. Moving on to a stablecoin article.
Here's another bullish article. There's a pretty clear relationship between the supply of Tether and the price of Bitcoin. You can see it in that chart. And Tether, after a 2-month pause, is beginning to issue new coins. So that's you can see the tick up in that chart on the bottom blue or dark gray, whatever the color that line is. It's ticking up, and you can see the corresponding change in the Bitcoin price as well. So yeah, Tether, a huge stable coin, one of the largest.
Yep.
And changes in the supply of Tether are very important for overall trends in the crypto markets.
So much bullish. Yeah, so much so that for years there was always this pink elephant in the room, or this fear factor that if Tether were to implode, the crypto market prices and surrounding assets would all just plummet. They would take a substantial hit. We're talking like a Mt. Gox or major. It would be, because when you look at, it's the world's largest stablecoin, which means there's a lot of money that's been injected into the digital economy through this. However, you look at how collateralized, how audited, and it would take idiotic legislation to purposely wreak havoc on an economy, I think, at this point, because it's over collateralized, it's very transparent, and unless you have a law passed down that tarnishes or corrupts it or prevents it from being able to continue to support, that would be the only thing I can think of at this point.
That's the big risk factor with that.
At this point, it's just...
Hey, we have a question we should address. The answer is no on my end, but I got to pose it to you guys. This is regarding NFTs. Have anybody bought ECOFI? Eco.
I don't know ECOFI.
I haven't heard.
I've heard of economy or ECOMI. ECOMI? Are you talking about ECOMI? I know what he's talking about. I think it's ECOMI.
Okay, maybe, but he's saying EcoFi on here.
Yeah. We'll check it out. Let's check it out right now. But
let's look at it.
He might be saying no. I'm saying EcoFi, so I'll check out EcoFi first. I know there's an NFT play, ECO. Okay. This is what he's talking about. I know ECOMI is also an NFT play, but it's not open to the U.S. market that I'm aware of yet or easily. The engine of NFT commerce. See, we have quality over quantity. We got a beautiful community, and it's interactive. This is all about education. It's such a growing space that as much as we can learn about web wallets and sending and receiving and aspects of different protocols, we're all in this together. So we're a community. The more you learn, the more you can share with your friends and family, with each other. So we love it when you drop it in the comments. Let us know what you find and what you're interested in, so we can take a look at it and check it out. This
sounds very cool.
From one of our OGs. Thank you, Unfoldment33, bro. This looks really, really cool.
I'm gonna definitely have to look into this off stream.
Wow. I dig it. I dig it.
Art, yeah.
I do too. I would now the evolution of so.
We'll have to explore this further, but yeah, thank you for the hint or the suggestion. That's awesome.
Well, and I know an artist who has beautiful NFTs, and I'm not going to go to the site again right now. I'll plug it later. But I'm always looking for ways to show and share his artwork and figure out where they can go and be of use in other places. So this is cool, though. This is beautiful. Good find.
Is that fractionalized NFTs? Is that part of this? I believe that's what I read.
Wrapping the real world in NFTs. Let's see. Let's see if I can take a live action look here. What time we got? Some time here. The engine of NFT I'm going to be on the wrong. Is it working here? Okay. Let's take a look if I can go to the app. Here we go. So, okay, you can stake the eco token. I'm just not sure. Oh, about staking is the process. I know what staking is. How to earn stake or eco. I don't know enough about this at all.
It's worth looking at for sure.
But it's worth looking at because NFTs are hot, and anything that you can do to
stake and
to extract the value from them is basically, whether it's from loan, borrowing, or letting other people borrow off the value and have it be an asset that backs. Let me get our faces out of the way. Generate that can be traded for NFTs. Okay. So you can trade certain tokens directly for NFTs available through a project. And
you can generate those tokens by staking your eco.
Right, on this.
So that's cool.
Yeah. And
so you can basically stake your eco and get paid in NFTs in a roundabout way.
Yep. There are so many projects that are coming out like this that are connecting to the Web3. I cannot keep up, but this is all right. So this is coming soon. Hyperobject.ecofi.io, and there's ecofi.io. So take a look. It's in a book. That's an old Reading Rainbow reference.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to the next article about the Elliott wave.
Okay, yeah. So we've been wanting to take a little closer look at Elliott wave price analysis, and the Elliott wave theory is a pretty large subject, and it's something you want to study. You don't just dip your toe in, but it's a study of patterns and statistics, basically, and patterns and trends. And there is a chart showing the Bitcoin price action, and it seems to be lining right up with the standard Elliott wave impulse wave pattern. And if you look, you can see that we've converted the first, second. We've already completed the first, second, third, and fourth wave. That fourth wave was a corrective wave, and it seems to be setting up for that final fifth wave push up, which would bring us potentially to 100K. At the end of that. So, and then these impulse waves are followed by usually 3 wave corrective waves. They're the ABC pattern. and then that sets you up for the next impulse up. So we're going to take a closer look at Elliott wave theory as time goes, the weeks go by, and potentially bring this in as a regular part of our videos. And this would just be this is a nice little introduction, very simple introductory, I guess, first step into that analysis. So, any thoughts, guys?
Did you want? We were talking about this earlier. I have a thought on taking this further. Were you thinking of coming up with different possible wave predictions, like saying, well, let's say this is the marker, or let's say this is the marker, and maybe come up with a few and have people vote on it? Maybe have people vote.
Yeah.
Be like, well, which of these do you think? And then it could be, or do you think it's neither?
Right. Something else. Right.
So, but that would be cool, because it is.
Yeah, because there's always different reads on how to label these waves and which pattern are we in, and all that. So, and different analysts have different ways of reading it and labeling it. So yeah, if we could it'd be nice to have a couple options, and then maybe crowdsource a vote on what it is, how to read it, what we think, and with all aiming towards making us better, having a better read on the future.
Oh yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I've got a friend of mine who trades a little bit of my crypto for me, and he uses Elliott wave theory along with Fibonacci, the Fibonacci analysis, and Fibonacci retracement. And those two together seem to be very powerful. I mean, he's not always right, but he's right way more than half the time. And
well, that's huge if you can be right more than half the time in crypto.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's something worth looking at and getting an understanding of.
Speaking of looking at and getting an understanding of, we talked about Cardano, we've talked about Ethereum and DeFi and NFTs. Another major blockchain in the smart contract space that's really starting to take off is the Polkadot network and Kusama. It's Canary Network, it's Test Network. Now Kusama has just had a phenomenal year. Really, it's blown up, and Polkadot's really starting to. I mean, Polkadot's done well also, but they're both starting to have projects take off on their platform. Kusama, their parachain, their auctions are actually happening. Their first round of auctions has already happened, and they're scheduled for their second round of auctions. Now, no auctions have officially happened for Polkadot yet. Polkadot officially on schedule for next parachain auctions on Kusama. But the Polkadot has not had its first round of auctions. It's coming soon. Kusama has had its first round. It's about to start its second round. On Kusama, but that's how I understand it. So,
yes. So this is people
very
bidding for bounties of Kusama, right? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, right. Oh, go ahead, Jacob. Do your thing, brother.
So they're bidding on parachain auctions. Mm-hmm. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to become a parachain, a lot of these projects. And so it's the community who are involved in Polkadot who get to vote on what projects become a parachain. And they just did one on Kusama, and they launched Karura, Karr or KAR, I believe the ticker symbol is. Mm-hmm. And it's a multi-collateral stablecoin, and they actually have a second pair, Akala, that'll be launching on the Polkadot network, which I'm excited for. I think it's guaranteed a spot myself, just because of the response for Karura and how many people overwhelmingly voted for Karura.
So you think which one is has a solid chance?
Akala.
Now that is for Polkadot, right?
Yeah, so it'd be a multi-collateral stablecoin in Polkadot.
Right. Now that's not that they're not really, that hasn't happened yet. The rounds for Polkadot parachains, but that's the one that we're waiting on.
That's the one that we're waiting on. Yep.
Do you know when that's supposed to come out?
No. If I did, that's.
We'll try to drop it. I do know who does know. So one of my favorite research and one of my favorite crypto ambassadors, and I will continue to link him from our website. But we do link to all the top educators and channels out there as we develop our site too. Now, if you're interested in Kusama and Polkadot and that network, I don't know if there is a better channel. Let me scroll on down. Here we go. Okay, Crypto's Chain. Have you guys seen Crypto's Chain?
I have, but not a lot.
All these. I mean, BitBoy, Coin Bureau. These guys are tops. All coin. These are the big. But now they all have specialties. And Crypto's Chain. He's just a. I mean, he is doing a great job at keeping people abreast of the latest happenings with the auctions. How to, get your wallet and stake and operate, because doing stuff with Polkadot. I know there's so much on this computer. We need to have a donation address so we can get a new computer. I'm just kidding. But here you go. Cryptocurrency reviews and tutorials. But now, if you check out what he's actually given...
Oh, I'm actually subscribed to him. I just didn't recognize the name.
Yeah, well, 15,000 subscribers. I'm not surprised with your reach into all the stuff happening in crypto, brother. You can see he's got Kusama, Moonriver, different parachains, Polkadex. So a lot of stuff that's happening in that Karura we were talking about. And I know what you're talking about. Akala. Is it Akala? It's Akala, right?
That article, if you scroll down to that article you were on a minute ago, Luke, the one we had pulled up on Polkadot, it talks about the different projects. It talks about Karura and Akala.
Here, let me scroll down further. Here we go.
There
we go. Yep. So here, this is going to be a great article. Moon River. That's already. These are the ones that are already on. Okay, so
yes, this was the first round of auctions.
The first round of auctions landed landed 6 parachains or 5. Okay, here we go. 5.
Yep.
Okay.
The winning parachains.
Very, very cool. What makes Kusama parachains unique? You'll have to pause this video and read this to find out. I'm scrolling out. All right, there we go. And
this next article is fun. This is more for grins. So I'm sure you've probably heard that OnlyFans is banning porn, and it's because of the fact that the payment processors that they receive to fund their platform and to retreat to it, to settle the subscriptions and everything. These payment processors are saying that they're not going to process payments for OnlyFans because of this porn element. And this rapper Tyga says, "Okay, we'll just create our own a better version using crypto as the payment." So that's very cool.
Now, when you look at him, you may say, "Is that Michael Ray Wynn Stevenson?" And you would be right, because that is his name. But most people actually know him as Tyga.
That's right.
I'm not familiar with either one of those names or his music. I am not even familiar with the OnlyFans. There's so many social media things out there. However, we do have. This is not the first time in markets or in economics you hear about certain industries being targeted and prejudiced. To which ends up leading to more exploitation, right? So if you're against trafficking and you're against,
slavery,
sexual slavery, and all these horrible things happening, then you would want to make it easier for people in those industries to be able to survive and to interact and to be transparent, to be able to spend and earn, not for them to have to hide and go through an intermediary, right? And that would be like, in essence, a pimp, right? If you're and you're not allowing people to take control of their own.
That's right. Because when you push these exchanges and these markets into the shadows, now you're turning it over to the criminals, and there's no way to. There's very little oversight into what is slavery occurring here, or is everybody a voluntary party to this transaction or not. It's really hard to say. But when the transaction's registered and official on a network, then it's a lot easier to get a window into just who's involved, what's being traded, and then if there is any issues, you've got a whole record of it, right? So
Right.
the kinds of slave exchanges that we want to see diminished are probably not the thing that you're going to want to put on your credit card or on your wallet, or in anything that you've got a real tie to, right? That there's a record of. It's something you'd want to do in paper money in the shadows, right?
But that's
And going on. There was the FOSTA SESTA sex trafficking bill that closed down Backpage, which was this website that a lot of prostitutes used to advertise their services and to rate Johns. When this bill shut that all down, and that pushed these prostitutes and escorts back onto the streets because they could no longer turn to the internet to market and to vet.
Right.
So it increased the amount of violence and harm that actually was delivered on these women, and it was not done, I guess, presumably not done with the intention of harming people. It was supposed to be to reduce sex trafficking and all that, but it actually had the reverse effect.
right, which is often what happens with regulations and laws of that sort. So education, knowledge is power, and we can prevent these mistakes and people from suffering by what do they say? To do the same thing over and over again, expect different results. Now that we've repeated these experiments enough and we know what the results are, we can refrain from doing it again. Well,
One would think.
we'll find out. Time tells. Crypto. Speaking of time tells, time will tell how high CryptoPunks will go, because there's been a new purchaser in town, a new game. Did you hear about this one, Jacob?
I heard about it on Twitter.
So, Ryan, you want to talk a little bit about what's going on in CryptoPunk world?
Okay, yeah, there was a new sale that broke a record. Is CryptoPunk sale purchased by Visa.
Now, what just for those who don't know,
what is a CryptoPunk?
What's so special about CryptoPunks? What is it in general?
These are isn't some of the first NFTs, right? Is that correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so they're very sought after. It's kind of like the proof of concept of the idea, and it's some artwork that's not very aesthetically. It's got a certain aesthetic. It either appeals to you or it doesn't. I like it. It's got a '90s kind of MS Paint kind of vibe to it. But
and they were set to an algorithm so that I don't remember how many, but however many were made, there's small variations to each one, so they're all just
Right.
a little different. They were, but
so yeah, Visa purchased one, set a new record, 200. I think it's over $200,000. And what's the key? Oh yeah, I knew that Lucas appreciated the seller was in his name, G Money. So you got G Money making a sale to Visa.
yeah,
So it
I thought
shows
that
you
was
how the world's changing.
I thought that was very unique. I wonder if the people behind Visa know who is behind know who's behind G Money, because it's just someone with an Ethereum address that made a purchase at some point in time. It's not strange to find when people are purchasing assets in a company to know the people that they're working with and they're purchasing those assets with. So and that the name is G Money. How that's pretty funny that it's called G Money and it's being purchased by a financial intermediary that specializes in settling transactions, right? So I thought that was cute. It's cute that they chose to buy from G Money, whoever it is.
Especially if there's thousands of these things in existence, and they're only marginally different from each other, right?
Yeah, and here's something else that I thought was interesting. When you have a major company like Visa purchase an NFT, that's not just like somebody who works at Visa purchased an NFT. This is NFT, the company, making up an asset acquisition of an NFT and a CryptoPunk. Now, when they did this, So it shows a lot about the legitimacy of companies holding. This is going to do a lot for the market as more people are aware of the impact of this. Now NFTs are being held by U.S. companies, by corporations on their books as an asset, and how they're able, because the accounting rules are very colorful and carnival-like, because that's the beauty of accounting. You mark to market. There are so many laws coming out that allow people to value what they need to value to keep things looking good on the outside. I would say that interesting that they paid 49.5 ETH, and the price that was acquired was 21.75 ETH. So they
less than a month ago. That's jumps out at me.
Less than 1 month, they valued the NFT of CryptoPunk growing double in less than 1 month.
And that's while ETH has done pretty good over that month too. So we got to factor that in.
On the topic of explosive NFTs, do you want to pull up something for me real quick?
Always talk to me.
Pull up 0, capital N, 1, or 0 as in the number. Capital N, 1, there it is.
Oh, yeah, we were here last week.
Yup. So, Oniforce actually just broke all kinds of records, and they actually broke OpenSea twice now. Straight up, OpenSea had to put DDoS protection into their website because so many people were trying to buy these NFTs.
Wow.
It's amazing to me. Their price floor, when I got into it, day one of launch, it was at like 0.4 Ethereum, right? And let me pull up their price floor right now. Their price floor right now, less than 2 days later, 3.3 ETH.
Wow, that's amazing.
It
blows
my mind.
How many do you have?
I have 2.
Wow.
Congrats.
Congratulations. How did you get involved? And again, you explained last time. How did you get involved early on? And by the way, if you're listening and you're saying, well, why should I? You're not too late. We're going to talk about it later, but this is just the beginning. So many projects are when you get involved, you have the opportunity to get gifted airdrops and opportunities to get things at a fraction of the value in a short amount of time. But go ahead, brother. Talk to me about how you were taking advantage of this opportunity.
So I actually just happened to be scrolling through Twitter, and somebody shared a picture of one of these, and it was actually the artist who got retweeted by somebody I follow. And I just so happened to fall in love with the art like right away as I saw it. I'm like, okay, how do I learn more about this? Where do I buy this? And I was just happened to be so lucky that I was in the Discord community asking questions before launch. And they happen to have a really cool event take place where if, as a part of their lore, there's this character called Mora, and if they take your name, you become nameless, like a husk of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole lore behind it was if they see active community members who are in the chat and that they think are going to be in this community and add value to the community, they would give them the ability to mint 2 Onis as a pre-sale a few days before their official public launch. And I just so happened to get it on that pre-sale because I fell in love with the art and I couldn't stop interacting with the community.
Wow. Good job, brother.
Awesome.
Then that's what it takes. And, when you get involved with the communities, there's a lot of benefits and value because that's really what blockchain is built on. It's built upon growing communities. It's none of, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Polkadot or Cardano, nothing is going to grow in value without the network effects of other men and women around the world joining and growing these. So, at the end of the day, that's what's gonna grow the value is adoption.
And one of the things that I think is going to be amazing for communities and NFT communities like this is not just the level of engagement from the community, but also the team as well. I mean, the influencers that they brought on, Gary Vee himself, Steve Aoki, Logan Paul, these are very prolific people who are getting into this project, who want to add value to this project. And with them having musicians come on and DJ as a little community event to celebrate their launch. I mean, when you have events and things like that, bringing communities together, even across nations, it's so much value because of Metcalfe's law.
Yes. Yep, that's that part of that.
The artwork is
the network effects, the Metcalfe's law, the growing adoption is definitely going to build upon itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say the artwork on that is unique. I really dig it. I'm gonna have to grab one of those if they don't get too crazy priced.
Try to get a floral one while you can.
Yeah. So what are we talking about now?
Well,
USDC?
a little stablecoin information. We talked about Tether earlier. I thought you might have a little something to add about this.
Okay, yeah, let's check out this article. So apparently stablecoin USDC is going to be 100% backed by cash and short-term treasuries by September. Currently, they're only 61% of the tokens are backed by cash or cash equivalents. So yeah, that's huge. That's showing they're moving towards the direction of Tether and having a fully collateralized stablecoin.
That's awesome. That's great news. And it's just great news for crypto. It's great news for the cryptocurrency community, for those who've seen, well, we talked about Wells Fargo just had its consumer credit line just taken away because of the malfeasance or the bad accounting, the fraud. And there's that happens all the time. Well, the funny thing is, while cryptocurrency may be unregulated and very underdeveloped, the reality is that it's all built on transparent ledgers and blockchains and that are highly competitive. If someone does something nefarious, there's another project right next to you that's going to do something better, and you just literally won't get the business because there is no regulation funneling people to force them to use your blockchain. So in this free system of allowing community members to build and develop and flock to whichever chain is the most efficient, it's really there are some quick pump and dumps and people taking advantage of an emerging market. But we see that with Wells Fargo. I mean, you see people taking advantage. I have a story to talk about Square and how they have locked up money for over a week of not having access to money from a small soap business, and it's just a shame. No way to contact. It's been over a week, but I'm not going to go into that in this. That'll be another video. But that's the traditional financial market. Square is a multi-billion-dollar company, and the fact that you can't get a hold of them, where's the transparency? Funds locked up. Aye. So it's good.
It doesn't do good for trust, does it? When you got these third parties that are almost black boxes that you just can't even.
I'm gonna say it. You're right. I'm gonna say it real quick because I want to make a whole video on this. But just think about this. Square. We live with traditional financial markets in the 21st century. Square is one of the larger companies that does point of sale transactions for merchants all over the world, not just the United States, North America. And they've been around for over a decade, leading the way of taking credit cards and for people and being able to take a payment right on their phone or right on their tablet or what have you. So for a company like that to withhold people's money and then to not be able to contact them, no phone, no message. The email is not an email you can send from your own email address. You have to go through their website portal. So it's a black box. You get no receipt of what you send them. I have experimented with this issue, being someone who's going through it, and I've seen for over a week no response to email to date. And enough working capital frozen that's preventing me from buying labels and continuing to supply people with certain varieties of vegan organic soap that I should probably plug later on. But anyway, so if you work for Square, know someone who works for Square, I would like to settle this harmoniously. So please reach out somewhere and let's see how we can resolve this, because surely there's something around illegal. There's something somewhere in the securities exchange, somewhere in the banking oversight committees, this taking people's money and not responding to them and it being frozen. I think that's where Gensler and Yellen, instead of people freaking out about cryptocurrency, which is just beginning and they don't even understand it in the first place, why not Wells Fargo and Square? There are people who got thousands of dollars stuck in these companies that are actually registered in the United States. Like, Square is a registered U.S. company, and right now they're a black box. I talked, a bank doesn't even know how to get a hold of them. So riddle me that. Anyway, let's not waste too much more time. We're going to power through it. What else do we have here? Oh,
okay, this was a fun article.
Yeah.
The CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, their commissioner has said that the whole question of whether a crypto is either a security or a commodity is oversimplified, and that if you scroll down, there's a quote that's key that kind of sums this whole thing up. He says that, a little further.
Here we go.
Okay, because this CFTC doesn't regulate commodities themselves, only futures contracts or derivative products like swaps, the commissioner said that it doesn't matter whether digital assets are classified as securities or commodities, because they wouldn't fall under the authority of the CFTC unless a futures or derivatives contract was involved. So, if there's no futures or derivatives contract involved, according to this commissioner, the digital assets are not going to be under the authority of the CFTC. So it really wouldn't matter how you classify them. I thought that was a very telling statement right there. Very bullish, really, for anybody who's interacting with digital assets, but outside of the scope of a derivatives or futures contract, because that essentially means that you won't be under the authority of the CFTC, or these investments won't be.
And it's great to hear people in the traditional markets who understand what's going on agree that to classify as a security or commodity is grossly inaccurate.
Right. It's an oversimplification.
Yeah, pardon me. It's a grossly inaccurate oversimplification. That's right. So, and it's true. It's like you can't describe cars in the same manner you describe horses. And you know what? There were people that tried to do this a long time ago. And you know what? That's why to this day, when you say, "Hey,
horsepower,
how strong is your car?" It's got a lot of horsepower.
How many ponies under the hood?
How many ponies you got under that hood? Right. Okay, so hey, we got some quick news to power through. All right, Jacob, tell us about Casper.
Yeah, so are you guys familiar with Casper?
Well, I am. It's a proof-of-stake smart contract platform that beat Ethereum to the proof-of-stake punch, considering that they were originally hired to help Ethereum figure out how to move to proof-of-stake, and they said, well, instead of figuring them out for them, why don't we just do our own? That's what I understand to be the history. I may be wrong, but there's a white paper, and it is live on mainnet now.
Mm-hmm. So their mission statement as far as a blockchain is to be scalable and to be the main blockchain that's used in a space where companies, corporations, the whole world, this is for an enterprise-friendly blockchain. And so this blockchain here is actually pretty interesting because they allow for upgradable smart contracts, which is just, it's so different than what we're used to in this space. There's a lot being built out as far as scalability, as far as usability, And one of the big things that I wanted to mention is one of my other favorite projects, Wise Token, actually happens to be building a DEX for them. Their first decentralized exchange is actually being built out by Wise Token, and that's when they will launch the Wise Casper pair.
Nice.
That's
very cool.
huge, and we're also fans of Wise Token, and this is huge because we're seeing a lot of, well, you're seeing Hex and Pulse Chain, you're seeing a lot Polygon move to a DAO. Your people are looking for other platforms to move to that can sustain more transactions and that are cheaper. The networks are cheaper, so these smart contract proof of stake networks. Look, it said Casper's the first one to move to it, and they're doing it now. Wise Token, we know the tokenomics behind Wise Token that sets it apart. Still has hundreds of millions of dollars of locked liquidity on Uniswap. It leads and paves the way there. Being able to connect and back and be the utility token or the back token of the DEX on Casper is exciting. It's amazing. It's awesome, and it's going to show their strength on different platforms, on different networks. Because what we're going to see, what we already know how this works, is we're going to see a massive amount of value of locked liquidity to back to begin and to help grow the Casper DEX. And there's another DEX I'll show, but many platforms are putting out decentralized exchanges to swap on interoperable tokens and chains as these develop further. So this is awesome. Very cool.
Something else I'd like to mention about Casper really quick too is the fact that they're also having a hackathon event, and it's pretty interesting how Casper uses full stack development. So I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Rust, but if you know Rust as a programming language, I would definitely look into Casper as something that you can build on.
And you also had an article and talk about its energy efficiency.
Oh yeah. One of the interesting things that we always hear is how inefficient blockchain is, how inefficient it is with energy, and I can't stand that argument because it's a cop-out. It really is a cop-out every single time. Innovations are being made in this space, whether people see it, whether they like it, or whether they know it. It's happening now. And to turn a blind eye at the things that are happening with other chains, with Ethereum, with all of these proof of stakes that are being built out and further upgrading their contracts. I mean, it's silly in my opinion, especially when a chain like Casper is going to be as efficient as it is for that mass scalability usage.
You can already see the comparison. Now, of course, this is before Ethereum moves to proof of stake, but I still can't imagine it's proof of stake in sense it's being more efficient than Casper, considering Casper was built to be proof of stake from the ground up. So that's phenomenal. Either way, you can see the transition of why people are trying to move away from proof of work to proof of stake. Now, as big as these graphs may be for energy usage in blockchain, I would argue, and I think Ryan might agree with me, if we were to crunch the numbers and show the amount of energy that's sucked and misallocated with the current financial markets compared to...
It dwarfs Bitcoin.
It dwarfs big. This may be like a little toy block that a child would step on, or someone would step on. It's and
that doesn't factor in the energy usage in the military side to prop up the fiat side.
Yeah, there's a whole there's a rabbit hole to go into for that, but it's actually relevant. I mean, when you really want to look at cost, you have to pay attention to it. If you don't, you're not looking at the whole picture. But still, for those people who are just want to stay in this mindset, that's still a great
it shows you progress
variation,
being made.
major progress. So, and here's the deets on this article right here if you want to know more about it. Now, you talked about Avalanche earlier. You remember that? Ryan, I don't know if you remember. We brought it up.
One of the better projects, and I bought some Avalanche.
It is. And I mention it because I want to kind of roll out telling people about some other crypto projects. You know, we've got Ethereum, there's Cardano, which I hope to be able to show and grow more on and understand more about. And there's Polkadot. We showed a YouTube channel where you can go to learn more about that. Another great project I'm a fan of is Luna. And we talked about Avalanche, which is somewhere on here. I don't know where Avalanche is. It's definitely here. It's 25. Boom. There we go.
25.
And it's had a great run up. Part of this great run up that Avalanche has had is it's another proof of stake mechanism that's very, very fast, very cheap, very efficient. It has had a decentralized exchange built on it for a little while. Has a strong academic founder background, and has just slowly but surely, like Cardano, finding its space. But there's been a bounty, not a bounty, $180 million fund donated to help develop DeFi in the space. And so it's led to a bit of a rush, as you can see in certain projects. But just to show you how developed it is and what we're talking about, you're familiar with Aave on Ethereum network. And if you go to Banky is the Avalanche version, and a lot of people are already moving things over from Ethereum. You can take right now, you see how expensive it is, gas fees on Ethereum. If you've tried to play around in DeFi and Ethereum now, maybe a year and a half ago, it was fun going to Aave. Now, if you try to stake or unstake or borrow, now if you try to interact with DeFi, it's so expensive with Ethereum gas fees. You hope that you can move it to Polygon, or you hope that you can move it somewhere else. So to help declutter the traffic on Ethereum and make it cheaper, the gas fees, and make it to where people can continue to grow and work with cryptocurrency, you have great projects, great platforms like Avalanche, where they are building similar. Ethereum is a great testing ground for what can be done with smart contracts. Ethereum has been a beautiful, innovative space to see how DeFi, what's possible. Even look at Uniswap now, version 1, version 2, version 3. If someone's going to build an automated market maker, they're going to foresee the front running of mining and other things that happen, and they will find, or impermanent loss, and they will find ways of being able to provide liquidity in certain within certain bounded ranges, like we've talked about in the past. So much, that's why it's important to not regulate, and to especially don't regulate things you don't understand, and to allow them to develop so that this rapid growth can lead to rapid improvement.
Yeah, because regulation can tend to be like a pause button on innovation.
Yeah.
It puts a ceiling on it, and then whatever exists is kind of what you get. Whereas competition tends to lead to all kinds of new ideas no one foresaw.
Breed innovation, for sure. Mm-hmm. So right now, if you're interested, you want to become a part of the Avalanche community, or you already are and you're wondering what to do to be involved, there's none of this is financial advice, so it's all, have fun and play at your own risk. Obviously, you can always just stake Avalanche through its native web wallet interface, which is a pretty fun thing to experience. There's also the Pangolin DEX, which I might jump at later. But here, their Banky is really neat, and you can take Avalanche, you can take your link in different assets, and there's different collateral factors. Now, Link has a 0 collateral factor. I think because I'm not hooked up, it's not showing, because it's 50% usually with a lot of these. But anyway, you can load up your digital assets and you can borrow. That's right. You can supply, earn interest on what you supply, and you can also, after you collateralize your assets, you can borrow. And what can you do? You can take that and you can go out and acquire other stable coins or digital assets. That's how, if people are wondering what they can do to allow their capital to work for them, Avalanche Network and Banky are one of those innovative places where you can store in a decentralized manner, not through BlockFi or Celsius or somewhere else like Aave. You can, in a decentralized manner, you can engage by providing value to the community. Why are you earning interest? Well, you're providing value. Instead of keeping it in some hardware wallet or some paper wallet off the chain, you're allowing other people to access it and to use it so that they can trade and buy and sell and do other things. So by providing a value to the community, you can earn fees. That's the basic fundamentals of DeFi. Absolutely. So that's Banky. Check that out if you're in the Avalanche community. Luna, I talked about Luna and the UST. Well, the US Terra USD, which is UST, is a phenomenal sleeping dragon, a stable coin of the future. It already has a lot of adoption around the world. There's some major projects, companies that are using it. I forgot where. I'll look it up later, but I know they just recently had an announcement with some collaborations. Now, here's what's neat about it. I told you earlier, Terra, the UST is directly related to Luna, the supply and demand, as the Luna token is the asset that arbitrages, that stabilizes, that keeps the UST pegged to $1, right? Now, what can you do with your Luna? Let's say you have Luna tokens, and you can actually take your Luna tokens at this Anchor protocol, and you can bond them. Because why? Well, like we talked about with Casper or other networks, with Luna, it's its own chain. With Luna, you can stake it and you can earn. But when you bond Luna, you're letting someone else earn those stake rewards. You see what I'm saying? If you're taking your Luna and you're bonding it, you're allowing someone else to take that Luna and they're staking it because you're bonding it to this application, right? Mm-hmm. You can take that bonded Luna, and that becomes collateral that you can use to borrow. You'll earn on what you bond. Obviously, if you bond some, you can earn, but you can borrow
against the bond,
against the bonded Luna. So you can take your asset and you can borrow a stable coin off of that. There are things you can do. So this is just fun things to do in the ecosystem. There's more than Bitcoin, more than Ethereum. Now we're talking about
pretty good APYs too. What, almost 20%?
Now that's what I was going to say to someone. Let's say that right now you don't want to get involved in the risk of cryptocurrency. You can right now go all in to crypto and earn close to 20% on UST, which is a stable coin. So that's just on your dollars. You don't have to worry about the fluctuation of the price of Ethereum or Bitcoin. They can go up, they can go down. Right now, riddle me this, just so you know. Right now, if for people who are risk averse, tell your family, tell your friends they don't want to get involved with crypto. We'll say, well, you see Wells Fargo, you see Square apps not giving customers their money. Do you recognize that right now, just by converting out of the banking system and getting into digital finance, that people are so hungry for more liquidity and for dollars that they are willing to pay? There's a 20%. Now it's fluctuated. I've heard people say it's gone anywhere from 12, 14 to 21, 22, or 17 to 21. But the point is that these...
It's very good.
Hello.
I went to cdbankrate.com. I think that's the website a few days ago just to check out the CD rates. And I believe unless it's changed, it was less than 1% for 2 years. It was like 0.75 of a percent for 2 years. And there was a minimum of like $5,000 that you had to lock up. And that's just ridiculous. And then when you look at this, 20%.
20%.
It's just
stable coin.
This is why the Deloitte survey had the 76% result. Because financial experts globally know that 0% interest rates aren't sustainable.
Yep.
You've got a growing ecosystem that's got APYs that are 100 times that.
But it's about knowledge. Like right now, if you want to get 20% returns on US dollars, you're like, I don't want to take the risk of these cryptos. I just want to park, 50 grand, 100 grand, a million. Well, whatever numbers you have, people who are really like trying to find ways to secure their money. I mean, even if it's 1,000, 10, whatever it is you have, you're looking for a place to park your money. How do you knowledge is power. How do you do it? Because if you come over here to nomics, you're not going to do it. Not every single one of these can you do that with.
No.
Not every single one of these can you do that. Now, obviously, some of these projects are growing well, and you can try to diversify into some of the leading projects of.
But that's not safe compared to like staking at a guarantee.
But that's not
rate.
Taking stable coins. You want to take stable coins, a Tether, find out where you can go with Tether. Heck, I'll tell you what, just to see what most people have had an opportunity to check out or to see what's available for interest in a decentralized platform, go to Aave. I mean, Aave is one of the leaders really in DeFi when it comes to locking up digital assets to allow for borrowing and lending and staking of that sort. So let me click on that again, make sure I hit it right. And that was the main. Terra Luna, what can you do with Terra Luna? You can bond it and you can borrow against it and you can do fun stuff. So let me see here. Let's go USDT. What's that interest rate right there?
2.6.
2.68. Here USD 3.24. Gemini dollar
18
is the closest, but here's the difference. Gemini is a it's an exchange. It's a centralized exchange. Right. Like it's a bank. It's an AML KYC banking system. Terra is a blockchain. Luna is a blockchain. The Luna token, the Terra platform it's a decentralized. It's novel. It's quite remarkable. I don't have any yet. If you're a member of the community, feel free to donate some because I'm such a fan of it. I will acquire some soon, I hope. But the reality is what it stands for. I'm a huge fan. So you look at the interest rates that are available, and now you can see why Terra Luna with 20% interest rate is so popular.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
And the gas fees are lower because it's not on Ethereum blockchain. You don't have the egregious gas fees, right? Because it's not on Ethereum. So it's a win-win. And that's what else is going on. Speaking of non-Ethereum, Cosmos. Atom's been around for a while, the Cosmos blockchain network. And if you have Cosmos and you stake it, it's got pretty high reward. I think it's like 9-10% annual on the Cosmos staking. But it's not just about what you get. If you're staking Cosmos, a lot of these platforms, they do airdrops. If you support their community, if you support by staking, just like recently, Wise Token, Jacob, you know that Wise Token, for the people who donated to that contract, they're dropping NFTs or awesome stuff.
I love that.
God, I wish I would have done it. And I had all my things to do, and my computer broke down, and it's been a few days. We actually canceled our stream. But I did not jump in time, and I'm glad for those who did because you support the community and you get rewarded for it. That's happening all over. Companies do that all the time. All the time companies offer rewards for people who support and help them grow early on. So no different now, but of course we know how much value and how much money is flooding into this emerging market. So you can imagine the rewards and the benefits for being an early adopter. And if you're watching this video and you don't know anything about cryptocurrency and you decide to start learning today, you're still an early adopter. You're definitely still an early adopter. It's the beginning. So Cosmos, if you're staking Cosmos, in case you didn't know, they had an airdrop. You can go to stakedrop.junochain.com and put your balance in, submit it, and it'll tell you what you have, if any. And what else can you do that from Atom Cosmos, Atom Token Cosmos Network, is they have a DEX that's being built out right now, and there is an airdrop. Now, an airdrop, if you were holding, just you didn't have to stake it, just if you had it in your wallet, they are giving free Osmos. That's like the Uniswap token. Does everybody remember when Uniswap gave away free Uniswap tokens? And now, is Uniswap worth anything? Yeah. And was that airdrop worth something?
Indeed.
Yeah. And you have something here too. So the Cosmos has been around for a while. We're not talking about some chump little network. We're talking about built on Substrate, Tendermint, the same family that's with Kusama and Polkadot and a lot of these others. So you have an airdrop over here. If you go to app.osmosis.zone, they have what you can do in order to earn. Now, all you had to do is hold Atom on February 18th to qualify. So if anyone was exposed to it, go there, check it out. And then there's other things to do. I look forward to experimenting and moving along this process to see how that works out. But like a lot of these airdrops work, they don't last forever. So share that knowledge. That's why we're putting this out there. If you know of something happening from a crypto that's dropping, drop us a comment and let us know where we can pick up the drop, and then we'll drop it down for the next video. Let people know where they can find it too. Let's see. That was the main stuff I wanted to cover there. I covered some Avalanche utility. We've got some Cosmos utility and drops. And I guess that's about it. We went over, but we got a lot of good stuff on our weekly update. The markets are looking good.
It's a fantastic day for the whole ecosystem in general.
It is. Great news in traditional markets too.
Yep. All of the above.
I would say, go ahead, brother.
One thing I would like to mention is with it starting to pick up and the market's starting to pick up, everything's starting to look bullish. I think it's important to take a step back and look at who's building and where the network effect is, because a lot of people will find value in projects but not understand how to look for value. And so you should be looking at the on-chain data of a lot of these cryptocurrencies or these NFT communities. Get involved in their social media. Get involved with them, because it's going to reward you tenfold when you put your energy into these communities early on.
That's a good point. Yeah, you do your due diligence instead of just chasing trends.
Oh yeah. When you do your due diligence, you can catch the trend before it happens. I just so happened to find Onis before they blew up. Before any influencers, before anything. It was just something that I enjoyed.
It was fortunate. I love when that happens. It's kind of how Wise, we found, Lucas and myself got into Wise early like that, and feel equally as lucky to have been in on that early.
Oh yeah. I still feel lucky. I mean, the fact that I got in on day one of the Liquidity Transformer blows my mind.
Day one, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a good price.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with some apocalypse art.
We're gonna wrap it up because we're speaking of NFTs and beautiful NFTs. I know that. I just love Jeff's artwork, and he's the artist. He just learned about blockchain and literally just with a small group, a small family team, helped him launch his artwork into the NFT space. And he's been making digital art for 20 plus 30 years. And you can see this talent in his artwork. It's spiritual. It's very uplifting, and that's what it's meant to be. It's also meant to help bring value and share value to mutual aid groups and charities of your choice. So it's just in its beginning, and he's working hard behind the scenes to grow and build the community and to add value to the community. So I'm just excited. He's just recently, a few of them just recently got sold in the last week. So more interest taking place. But yeah, just throw a little love to Jeff at Apocalypse Art, and as that continues to develop, I will share more of that for sure. Thank you all for joining us at Wise Beyond Bitcoin. We will continue to to work on our site and what we can do to bring the latest information, the economic outlook, because it's more about prices. It's more than just how much money can you make. A lot of people that are coming into this, they that's what they look at, right? They look at what can I invest in and what will make me rich. And for many people that were interested in blockchain or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency from the outset was from the potential that this technology has to make the world a better place. And yeah, it's great to see the value go up. It's great to see the price, and the price is going to grow as more people adopt it. The price is going to grow as its value increases, and that's a beautiful thing to participate and to enjoy as well. But as we've talked about, not all cryptos are the same. Not all digital assets are the same. Some are more centralized, some are decentralized, and they have different utilities and different purposes. So it's really great to continue to learn and to stay abreast of what's developing, so that we can teach each other and support those projects, learn about those projects that are here to innovate and to revolutionize and to help make the world a better place, make it more beautiful, more transparent.
Exactly. So there's a social angle, a social goal beyond just becoming wealthy.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to make sure we shine a light on that, so we can promote the right kind of culture and that will sustain a decentralized future.
Absolutely. That's it, brother. You said it. So as you said in the past, if we don't change our values and our understandings, then we're just going to continue having the same problems and corruptions in a new system, right? Exporting the problems. So with that, hope you're having a beautiful summer wherever you are, and because we're coming close to the end of it. Fall is upon us. We're not too far away from the equinox, a couple weeks. Actually, I guess we are a few weeks, about a month away. What's today's date? I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, we're a month away.
23rd, yeah.
What I mean is, here's what I was thinking of. We just stepped into Virgo. We're in the last house of summer, and we're in a very, very near and dear brother to me. This is his house of nativity. I'm not going to give away any names, but we're in the house of Virgo right now. So all you Virgoans, think, analyze, do your analytical thing, and let me know what's hot.
You figured out, yeah.
Let me know what you figured out. I always lean upon the analytical minds of my Virgo brothers to tell me what's hot and what's not. Until then, have a beautiful day and namaste. That's my piece. I'll let Ryan and Jacob say theirs, and then we'll be out of here.
Well, thank you for spending your Monday night with us as we chatted up, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you and dropping some more content soon. Thank you.
I just want to say we're here to spread the crypto love, the crypto education, and hopefully bring down those barriers of education for you guys. We want to help everyone in this space. We appreciate you tuning in.